It felt like the first time I went live, it was more lighting on the table. It seems like that went away. But anyway, hey y'all, hey, welcome to Energy. All praise to the Most High. Everything is entertainment. Viewer advised. Viewer discretion advised. Viewer discretion is advised. All right. I keep trying to simplify what I say to convey what I feel like I need to be at the forefront of your mind before I get started on the lives. So bear with me as I acclimate to these new words to convey pretty much the same truth. All right, y'all. Let's get into it. What's the reading this morning, Spirit? The Chariot. Could be a Cancer. What's the reading today? The Queen of Wands. Could be a distorted Sagittarius, Aries, or a Leo. Somebody's angry, someone's mad, or someone is just in a distorted energy, just not quite in their truth. And you know what? Take that with a grain of salt, because it is their truth in the moment that they are living it, but this is like emotionally charged with the Queen of Wands in reverse. It's emotionally charged. So when their emotion changes, when their temperament changes, then their truth changes. But they're in rare form, and that could be, I don't know yet, but it's a lot of things that the Queen of Wands in reverse could be. It could be someone jealous, mean, pushy, insecure, hell-bent on revenge, out of sorts, riddled by demons or full of a demonic entity. It could be somebody like that, but it could also be someone who is experiencing righteous indignation. They have way too much information about grievances, things that have injustices in their life, or just in the moment, things that should not be. They could be fed up. They could have had enough. This could have been someone who actually should be in like a victimization energy, but instead they are standing in their power and taking hold or control of a situation because their soul is guiding them to. Now that could be read, especially if this is like a Cancer, or if you have Cancer and fire placements, like water and fire placements, okay? But specifically Cancer placements, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius placements, this could be you. And that latter explanation could definitely go here, but we'll keep seeing what's going on. I'm going to let Spirit build the storyline first with the cards all together at one time. I like those readings a little better because it doesn't shift around as much. And I feel a lot more like relaxed. So when I'm relaxed, I like one storyline, one little neat storyline. When I have a lot of energy, I just want to get all of this energy out. Okay, so yeah, see, something is peaceful. That's what I want to say too. Compromise, resolving disputes, cooperation. This person was just getting rid of some tension, resolving some things that have been left unsettled, things that still were going, haywire or trying to trigger them, things that were still dangling or hanging in their mind. Unfinished business, really. And it says compromise, so I feel like somebody was amiable, peaceable, tamed. And that's not really an energy that you get off the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is literally somebody unleashed. It's like they're letting their wild beast energy out, and they could care less who sees. But with the Five of Wands in reverse, their intention was not to cause rivalry or stress or tension or an upheaval, or like they were not, being messy. The Five of Wands in the upright would mean somebody messy. This is not someone being messy. It says avoiding conflict. They actually were trying to avoid a conflict. Now, this could be with a particular person. There could be a lot of outside individuals, so maybe everybody would not see this person that way, which is why I was hit with both sides of it. However, to the person that it matters the most, this is a solution. This person was a solution to a problem. They solved something, and it could have healed. They could have healed something between the two of you, even if others are a little disturbed. And I say a little because the Queen of Wands does not bring a little bit of disturbance. They bring all the energy. They bring all the fire. They are the chaos. They are the karma. So that's not, that's somebody loud, rageful, hot-tempered, and confident and, feeling backed by the universe. Like, that's a wrecking ball. That's a reckoning, really. But this seems very peaceable, very, I keep getting this, very peaceable, very demure. Okay, somebody was very chivalrous. I don't know, it was like a high-class warfare. What do they call that? That's like medieval times. A war was not as savage. This is somebody was not in savage mode, but they could have been. But the way that I don't know, maybe they were in savage mode, but the way that they did it, like I said, tamed. So tamed. So, like, socially acceptable. That's what I'm getting. All right. I don't know. I like their style. I like the way they handle something. It's like mild-tempered, but with all the energy, though. They brought all the energy, but very mild-tempered. 8 of Pentacles, working on it. Feels like working on a connection. So they were working. They were looking for a specific outcome, but it feels like the outcome was a solution or a peaceful solution. It was to end a conflict or stop a conflict from happening. It was to resolve a conflict between the two of you. Okay. Tell me about the Cancer. Hey, yo. Why am I singing that song? Hey, yo. That's Outcast. Oh, the Chariot, Cancer. Something may have had to do with love. Yeah. Okay, well, you may have a lucky break coming in your love life. A lucky break, a turning point happening in your love life. Specifically, Cancer. You could be dealing with a Taurus, a Capricorn, or a Virgo. Feels like you're going to have a lucky break with this individual. Something good, something beneficial, abundant. This could have to do with your finances. It could also have to do with a happy home, a happy life, stability. Okay, this has something to do with money. Numbing is in reverse. I feel like you were guided to deal with some emotions so that it didn't cause a disruption in your connection with somebody specifically. But whatever this connection is very abundant for you. Like, it works out well for you. This connection is good for you. It's good for your life. It could be good for your finances. It could be good for your outlook, your positive outlook, or something like that. So there was no way for you to avoid whatever this was that happened here, if this is you or someone else, because you could literally be the other person, and this person you could have felt like this is someone who went to war with you, even though the energy is peaceable and everything, and it resolved some kind of dispute and it caused a solution. It's like, well, why wouldn't you deal with it at all? Because we have the 8 of Pentacles. Literally, it's like, I don't know, something about this could be seen as working self-sabotage. But the self-sabotage would have been to numb and pretend that they weren't experiencing these emotions, because I feel like it affects another connection in their life, or something else doesn't go right. Anytime. This could be anytime, especially if you're a fire sign. Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. Anytime you do not deal with your emotions, anytime you are feeling some type of way, that has you hot and bothered, irritated and angry, or it's getting under your skin, if you don't handle it, like your soul always guides you to. It's almost like whatever is going on within you is what you see on the outside reflected back to you. So until you handle that, until you deal with that, nothing else goes right. So this is like, yeah, you would have been completely going against your authenticity and your truth, okay? If you would have not. And you would have missed out on something really good that's happening here. It says a lucky break. We'll pull on it with tarot. But yeah, something, you would have missed out on an opportunity, a blessing, or something really good headed your way, or it could have caused issues in a connection or relationship that you prioritize in your life. So it was necessary. I don't know why it feels like that needs to be explained, but maybe it's not understood. Feels like it's not. It doesn't feel like there's any issues. Could be dealing with a Leo with this 5 of Wands in reverse. It's not causing an issue. There's peace. Maybe even they found a solution, you know, like simultaneously while you were doing this or going through whatever this is. They came to their own solution of the issue, but I don't know. But it doesn't feel... It doesn't feel like it's understood, but I don't know why. Oh, because people were running. Quick getaway, the runner, and escaping. Escapism. Yeah, so it wasn't understood. Someone was running from your peace, running from the solution. Why would they be running from compromise or resolving an issue? Why would somebody run from that? Because they thought it was a reckoning. Maybe that's it. I'm telling you, you brought the energy. It was your energy. So you could be as peaceable and as sweet and as kind and as genuine, honestly, as you wanted to be. But the energy that you carry was a reckoning. So there could be someone that was like avoiding you or didn't want to deal with you. Or this could have been how you escaped this problem and issue, especially if you are this Leo. I said specifically for a fire sign, this is how you have to deal with something. So this is not like a big deal for you. Although it could be a big deal for other people, or like, you know, a spectacle to see. I keep saying it's full moon. It's still out here. I saw it when I woke up, because I woke up way too early. It was like 3 something in the morning. And now I just tell Spirit, like, could you please handle whatever this is? I got to go back to bed. I'm tired. I can't, I'm not doing no yoga poses. I'm not lighting no incense. I'm not sage. None of this. I'm tired. I want to go back to sleep. No. And my son made sure I stayed up late last night so that, or he tired me out so that I would, yeah, pretty much just wake up and be like, yeah, no, absolutely not. And go back to sleep. And I did. I'm so glad that I did, because I woke up and it was so much more peaceful and the energy was so much better. And I looked out the window and I saw that full moon and I was just like, yeah, they're still up to it, but who cares? But it's something like that, you know. This is how I read energy. You know, it's like, what the fuck is going on? Although it could be nothing going on. I could be in a room of people that are like quiet, basically not even talking to me or anything, but it's so much energy. I'm just reading all of the energy. If no one's saying anything, I'm reading everything that is being felt by me and perceived by my third eye. So I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with everybody? Or let that out. Hey, like, you know, I hear that party over there. What's up? That's me. Oh my God, I've always been crazy. But yeah, but literally, like, it's getting to be that that's kind of like normal. Or there's a whole world where that is normal. But I'm getting you're that person though. This is how people are perceiving you. Like, oh, okay, everything is cool, but I don't know. Well, like, oh. What should I, what, are you, what? Like, they want to ask, I don't know. You're a spectacle. You're a spectacle, and some people are avoiding you because of this, but it is your peace. But your peace is like a reckoning. This is weird because the chariot is in the upright, which means that you're following your soul's guidance. You're following your heart. You're doing what you feel called to do. But I feel like the fear is like you are a wolf in a sheep's clothing, and that's always for fire signs. I don't know why, but fire signs tend to have like, they look young and they have like, what do you call it, like a young face or something like that. They tend to have like young faces or innocent faces, calm faces, which is so funny because there's nothing too calm about a straight fire sign. Like, I mean, it's all fire, especially if they're in their full ego, fully in their sun sign. It's hard to find one that doesn't have that fire brewing. If they do, then they're not in their ego. They're not, they're in another placement. They're operating out of a different placement. Maybe South Node energy, maybe North Node energy, authenticity, a little bit of inauthenticity, I don't know. Or in their heart, their Venus sign could be a lot different than that fire energy. It could be the exact opposite, like a water sign placement, Cancer specifically. But it could be Scorpio or Pisces too. But anyway, it's just, I feel like that's what people always get with you. So I don't know if this is something that hasn't happened in a while, but it just happened again. That's what I'm getting. So this could have been a time period where you were actually feeling the sweetest, the nicest, the brightest, the happiest, but people were like running from you. You could have I'm getting so much energy. You could walk in rooms where people usually like fall over themselves to have a conversation with you, but they're kind of like just looking down. When you walk in the room, or they're very mild about what they say, or they're barely saying anything, it's that energy. It was that energy. Like, don't say the wrong thing. Oh my goodness. All right, this helped to create a solution so that something was not lost that I feel was very valuable. We have repo, so that means this is something that you had invested in, something that you prioritized and that you considered to be an asset to you, and you went to work to make sure that you did not lose this situation, this asset. Okay, here. So yeah, whatever your works were, whatever you did, you were built. Okay, now I'm hearing a house. Luther Vandross, a house is not a home. All right, let's get tarot. Roller coaster is in reverse. Somebody is balanced, emotionally balanced and stable. That energy, baby, I don't know what the fuck you got in your energy. But it's all energy, because that's roller coaster in reverse. That means you weren't even feeling any of the emotions that you were carrying. People could have been feeling them because you were carrying them. That is like you were underwater. It's like you felt your feelings fully. You were fully immersed in them, dripping wet, but it had no effect on you. But if somebody was in that energy, if someone was a cooperative component to one of those emotional vibrations that you were carrying, to them it felt like a reckoning. It felt like they were being seen, like the light was being, like a flashlight was being pointed on them. So you was making everybody in the room uncomfortable. But I feel like you were specifically there to get a job done. All right, let's see. You have lucky break and good fortune, good things coming, and turning point is how we started off here with the Chariot. So I feel like you did what your soul guided you to do. And if that's the action that you took, and you saw it through, then there's no reason why things won't work out for you, why you know, would miss this opportunity. If this was the opportunity to correct something or fix something, I feel like you did that. But let's, yeah, I'm splitting the deck. I haven't even pulled on the lucky break yet, but we have the Five of Wands again, and it's in reverse. Same, well, you know, two different decks, but they're all together. So from the same deck, you got Five of Wands twice in reverse. Oh yeah, that's different. That's peace. Peace in the middle of turmoil. Look at this. So clarity and acceptance, awareness. You knew exactly what you had went through. You knew exactly what you were going through. You knew why you were going through it. You may have even known the evil eyes that sent it to you. You were in the middle of some kind of spiritual warfare, but you were not there. Like, you were not in your heart space. You were above it. You were like in the clouds. Before I, and there's so many things that happened, I had to actually end the reading to go and come back to start again. But before all of that, while I was making my coffee, Spirit was telling me about the owl and how sometimes you'll see the owl is like hanging from its feet on the tree. And it's like so it can peer a little bit deeper into what's going on the ground. But the owl never literally has to touch down to the ground to see. That's the point of the owl's eye. Like, it never has to come down. And then I heard, like, you know, you never become low-hanging fruit, something like that. Like, you don't stay on the ground long enough. You don't even have to come down. Now, this could be new. This could be new. Maybe that wasn't the old you. But this is like, so this is like the evolution of your primal energy, your, you know, the way that you do things when you're in that instinct or survival mode. You don't have to come down off the tree. You can literally see from your higher vibrational energy. So you could have been in your feelings, but you were so high vibrationally that the warfare that was being sent to you, they couldn't touch you. So that means that you probably had people that were gunning for you, but the hits weren't hitting and you were still standing there. And so they were becoming aware that what they were doing was having absolutely no effect on you. And that's where the fear came from, because you didn't care anymore. This could be as simple. It doesn't have to be a big rivalry. But I'm hearing, like, this could be as simple as not caring what someone is thinking. I've had this experience pretty much everywhere. But when I go down to sometimes, like, okay, so one example, because I feel chatty. I want to keep chatting. But my son had Hungry Howie's a couple days ago, and I couldn't think of what I wanted to eat, so I ended up having, you know, the individual pizza with him. I ended up getting one too. So we both went down to get our pizzas, and it was these two older ladies, and they so sweet, and they always give Liam gifts and bags of candy and stuff. You know, they always are really, he love them. He love them. He speaks, well, he love them when he love them, and he don't when he don't. Like, he, you know, be all, hey, hi. And he likes to talk to him. He'll strike up I don't really see him do that very often, but he'll strike up a conversation. It's these two particular older ladies. One of them really likes me, and the other one is like, she reminds me of my stepmom. She like, oh yeah, but like her eyes are real wide and she looks real uncomfortable, and it's just an awkward situation. But she's a beautiful lady, and I would like to, like, she seems interesting to me. I would like to get to know her, but she's weird. She act like, you know, I don't know, something about me. It's like a clash of energy, so I just leave it alone. But Liam likes her. But this particular time, he wasn't interested in talking to them. The lady was kind of like, well, I didn't get none of your candy when you came back, because they caught us after on Halloween, and she gave him a candy bag, and she wanted some of his candy, and he wasn't giving her none. And so he did not feel like talking to them. And if whoever know my son, if he don't feel like talking, it's not gonna talk to you. He'll walk right by you. So in my mind, like, it was so silent and weird. I could feel all of them. They're just like, Oh, because they be like, oh, you get what you get today. I know you always getting something good, because you know how older people are. You don't just be eating out all the time. How much money do you have? Do you have money for? They don't know if you got a coupon. They don't know if you getting it for free. They just feel like, no, nobody should be getting no deliveries daily. So that's how it was. But really didn't, I didn't care. So it's something like that. This is a situation where maybe you used to care. You went into it, you knew how people were feeling, they never said anything, but it was awkward, and you used to care. Even if you would try not to, it would really get under your skin that people were judging you, or that they were so like opinionated, to the point that you could feel the energy in the room shift. But I feel like now you're in that room and you could care less. Like, it's almost like you don't even realize it until after the whole situation and scenario. So it's like, in hindsight, oh, oh, they were judging me. Like, you don't give a fuck. Oh, it's beautiful. This is actually beautiful. Okay, let's see. What's the lucky break? Yes. Okay, the Hierophant. For some of you, the lucky break is that you're being, this is causing a division or a separation between you and something that you were actually really committed to or loyal to, a contract, a religious entity, or like a religious organization, or some way of doing things. Even when I'm saying education, like this could be living through the Bible only, or living through whatever religion you grew up on, the doctrine of your religion. So this is like breaking free mentally. Yeah, this is coming from wisdom, spiritual wisdom. So this is like a personal relationship with God, a personal relationship with your higher self. This is also releasing the tendency to suppress yourself. Okay, feeling that you are like, you don't have to conform. Okay, you don't have to follow the energy that's in the room. You don't have to follow the energy that's in the house. You don't have to follow the energy of anywhere that you walk into. You don't have to meet that energy. You can stay at your own frequency regardless. I love this. I always wonder how children can master this before adults can. Because I love, like, my nieces and nephews, my son, like they'll act wild and crazy, but if I do, they just be like, they like look like they just stop, and like deers caught in headlights, and they just be like, what's wrong with you? What's she going through? Is she all right? Okay. And then they just go back to doing whatever they were doing. But like, that's anything. Even my son is not like, it's not like that he's ever like never went through anything in his life. He's heard me and his dad argue. Well, he heard me argue. His dad don't really argue very much, but he's heard me rant and rave before. And he literally just, like, sometimes he don't even care. Sometimes he'll come and get a hug from me, or pull me to give him a kiss, or ask me to open his candy while I'm in the middle of ranting, and just walk off, toddle off as if nothing is going on. I love that shit, because when I was a kid, I was always like in my bed holding on to the sheets like, oh my God, what does this mean? Are they about to break up? Are we going to have to move? Does it mean I'm going back to Auntie Gore? What's happening now? I was afraid of everything. I was like, oh my God, they're so mad. Oh my God, what happens? What's going to happen? I grew up in a Jehovah's Witness house, y'all. It never got super crazy. But everything had to be so peaceable and mild-tempered that any little thing that got disrupted, I was like, oh my God, what does this mean? All right. Because I was usually the scene. I'm usually I was the tantrum baby. So everywhere else, in every other household, my auntie's houses, each of theirs, I was the one that everybody had to be like, all right, now that's enough. Now calm down. I was the one that would go up into an emotional upheaval. Nobody else. But with my stepmom and my dad, it would be my stepmom. She would go into an upheaval. And I was like, oh my God. Even my stepson, he'd just be like, Is this a good time to ask what's for dinner or should I wait? Like, I love these kids because literally that's how they operate. I did not grow up that way, but I love it. They be so unconcerned. It's because they're reading the energy, not the words, not what's actually happening. Okay, clearly you guys are going through some grown up things. It has nothing to do with me. The energy feels fine. It feels divine. So I'm good. I'm feeling good. Great. As a matter of fact, I got an appetite. I'm hungry. Are you guys done arguing or what? So this is a situation, something like that. Maybe you just have changed the way that you're seeing something or the way that you're doing something. But it is like, this is definitely ascension, and this is you, the owl. Somebody is a high priestess. You could be a reader of energy, a tarot reader. You don't have to be a tarot reader. You don't have to read energy for other people, but you read it. You read energy. You can read a room. You're very psychically inclined or psychically in tune. Your intuition is on fleek. Your third eye is awakened. And it feels like you are consciously absorbing information without losing your fucking mind. Your toes are on the ground. You are like rooted, grounded in your truth. And even when you're up in the air, when you are astral traveling or receiving information from higher realms, you still so grounded. Like I said, like an owl. Your feet are, you know how owls' feet, they clasp around that branch, so that's why they can do a whole 360 on that branch and see all sides of things. Upside down, flip it around, they can see it all without ever touching the ground. But they're grounded, they're rooted, they're stable, they're connected to a tree whose roots go farther than the eye can see. So yeah. Damn. Okay. So you're not missing out on anything. Something that you could have lost out on, and maybe it was this ascension. Maybe it was this awakening. Maybe it was these abilities. You could have missed out on that. That could have been your lucky break or opportunity, but you're not missing it. It feels like you're right in sync with it. What up, though? Sweet baby Lou on the block. I was just singing your praises. What up, though? Good morning, son. I hear you. All right. What's the Queen of Wands in reverse and numbing in reverse? Six of Swords. You learned a lesson. And this is about how to move peacefully from one side of something to another. So wisdom. That's wisdom. The owl. I'm putting owls all over the title of this video. With the High Priestess, you are a spiritual owl. Look, High Priestess again. You are the owl. The High Priestess is the most powerful card in the tarot deck. Intuitive, subconscious, feminine energy, inner voice, spirituality, secrets, and wisdom. You could be a High Priest too. There is no High Priest card in the deck, so it's fluid. But it's definitely about your third eye being awakened, and specifically in relation to your moon sign. Whatever your moon sign is, that energy is dominantly what you're in when you are ascending into this vibration, like the owl energy, when you're really able to see things from pretty much all perspectives. You have a very high inner knowing, and you have a higher calling. So you're always called to see things from this heightened point of view. It's almost like you can't. You could try to only look at things on the ground, but that never works out well for you. You have to get the higher perspective. You have to. You're one of those. You were chosen for this, you know. The High Priest and the High Priestess energy, most powerful card in the deck, but honestly, it's not something that everybody wants to receive or that everybody wants to be. It's a blessing and it's a curse. It takes work, consistent work that you can't say no to, or else it could destroy you. It could destroy who you are. It could destroy what you've built. It could destroy what you have. It could destroy your situations and relationships. You have to do the work. You have no choice. It's like go crazy or become more. So you have no choice. You have no choice but to ascend, but to become more. You were like chosen, but kind of chosen for war, for other entities to be pitted against you because you are peering into things and moving at a speed that others are not. So you are a spectacle, not just because people like, oh wow, look at that. No, it's like, how did they get out? Put them back. Yeah, the devil in reverse. You're outwitting and outmaneuvering devilish entities, people who operate in a devil frequency where they're controlling and dominating, and they're used to being able to move people with strings and put people in certain places. People work for the devil. Demons, minions, mind control. You're one that can see yourself right out of it. You can get out of any trap, and then you can help others too. So no, it's not like, yay, not really. It's extra work. You don't just get to sit on the ground. You can't just give up. You can't just be like, oh, yeah, I'm chilling. You can, but it will not feel good to you. Eventually, the warfare will catch up to you, whatever it is that you're feeling and seeing, because things will be revealed to you even when you don't want them to. Make a mistake and get happy on your own. Make a mistake and get to peace, and you're going to see everything. And then you're going to have to do the work, because enlightenment, that's what causes freedom. But first, you get mad. And then you get free. I love that song. It's a Rihanna song. I think it's called Lemon. Or Lemon. No, it's not Lemonade. Maybe Lemons. But you get it how you live it. You live it how you get it. Wait a minute. Like, the truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off. That's what it says in the beginning of the video. And that's this energy. So that moment of getting pissed off, that's a trap. You have to get out of that. You have no choice but to ascend. Male or female. But it definitely does mean that intuitively you read emotions, because emotions, energy in motion. I heard somebody say before, I think my ex told me, emotions are spirits. And I haven't really solidified how I feel about that, but yeah, it makes sense. Because even in the Bible, it says don't let all of your spirit out. That's why I said something about you is tame. Maybe you used to let all of your spirit out, but that's energy too. So you could be exercising energy that you didn't ask for that you're receiving. There's all type of devils walking around out here. The devils of the world. It's the air. It's in the air. So you're going to breathe it in. You're going to breathe in devil energy. Some of it can help you with money, prosperity, physical things, because that's where it comes from, devil energy. They created paper in order to have control over the market, over things that should be free. They incorporated a financial system. It's devil energy. Money is devil energy. So yes, you have devil energy in you, and when you're exercising, you're getting rid of a lot of the devil energy that you don't need. But if you let it all out, you're also letting go of some of the entities, maybe that God spirit or God frequency that you feed on. You're also letting that out. So there does need to be some kind of taming or sifting and sorting that you need to do. But I feel like you handled that, or your spirit team is handling it for you, and you're following the guidance of your spirit team, whichever works for you or whichever feels the best for you. One is more work than the other. The other is a little easier. It's an easier path to take. For whoever I'm talking to, it looks like you do both. Because the Eight of Pentacles, this is somebody who literally gets their hands dirty. They're getting in, they're doing the work. They're doing the work. But the Chariot, no. They're sitting up high and mighty on this throne, and they're allowing their spirit guides to guide them where they need to go. They're taking, they're even receiving like guidance and direction from the devils beneath their feet. That's the energy of being able to see the rulers of this world, or being able to see the entities of this world, the religious leaders. You're able to see through the things that most of society is blind to. That's that consciousness, or you can get into what do you call that? Conspiracy theories. Like, you're able to see those things but be moved around them. That's the guidance. This is a little bit more difficult because you're taking like the grounded role, which means you really have to work through these fears, like, because on the ground these things are a little scary. It's a little scary. Or it can be so mind-blowing that sometimes if you're faced with too much awareness of it, you could go crazy. There's so many different ways of seeing energy, so many different ways that things are being explained. People are AI. People are turning into AI. The government is AI. The aliens and the reptilians, and there's a whole lot to all of this. So, yeah, being able to do both probably really works for you. There's some things physically you have to see and decide on before you can just accept that that's the right move. And a lot of this has to do with, like I said, it's a blessing and a curse, because a lot of this you have to go through by yourself. Nobody can help you but you. You actually need the clearest energy and the clearest spirit so that you can connect with your inner guidance. Otherwise, things will be more difficult for you because you'll be so rooted and grounded to 3D energy that you can't uplift yourself enough to be guided by God or by source or by the universe, whatever you want to call it. Your higher self. You can't hear it when you're down on the ground. So sometimes you keep your head down because, like I said, you can be guided away from people, situations, family members. That's not something, I mean, even if you're a guy, you're like, really, God? You want me? What? That don't make sense. Let me see for myself. So, whoever you are, you're thorough. You're thorough. Because from the outside looking in, I would say if this is all of what you have to do, no matter what, to ascend, I ain't getting down on the ground for nothing. At some point, it's just like, okay, God, whatever you say. If God always saves the day and you always do it that way and it always ends up in a lucky break, what the fuck are you getting down on the ground for? Doing this hard ass work and being all in your feelings and emotions and having to constantly heal when you could literally just listen to God the first fucking time and never come down off the fucking tree. And you can see everything that you need to see from right up there. So what the fuck are you coming down for? What's the point? Let's see. Because you did come down. This is where people were running. So let's see why you came down. But the moon, there was still something that was not revealed to you. Something that was still hidden or unseen. And even I was talking about the full moon energy. So specifically, you could have people that were calling out to you. What do they call that? Wolves howling at the moon. So you were asked. You were asked to come down to see. You were asked to come down to 3D. That's like an invitation. So for some of you, if this was an invitation from someone that you knew you were protected, but you did not trust the protection. You didn't trust the protection. It came through someone that you couldn't trust. Page of Pentacles in reverse. So someone wanted to work with you, someone wanted to help you, or someone wanted to receive your assistance to work through something, but you could not trust that individual, so you had to come down and do work first for yourself so that you could, before you could even work on whatever this is. The Empress. Well, it was worth it because you don't just live in 5D energy, you're a physical being. So whatever you did, when you came down to the ground, you solidified it. You made it real in 3D. There was a need for you to balance out your energy. So I feel like that touch down to the ground is what you needed. That's interesting. I just heard like Jesus, the bride of Christ. That was the difference between God and Jesus. He listened to his son, even though he knows everything that his son knows. You know, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father also. That's true. But Jesus had firsthand knowledge and experience. And I feel like it could have been really the same scenario as the devil, right? The one thing that the devil probably wasn't willing to do was humble themselves enough to understand the other point of view. Like they could not humble themselves to God, so they couldn't understand why all these people are worshiping God and why why do they always do what you tell them to do? Why do you get to, make up all the rules and we just have to follow you? And God was like, okay, so you don't really want to know the answer to this. Get your ass down there. You just want to rule too. That's okay. Go ahead. I got a lot of people for you. Go down there and rule. Go ahead, do your thing. Jesus was a little different. I feel like he explained himself. I want to understand. Jesus is actually the feminine energy. In the Bible, sometimes that's why people call Jesus God, because it's like the feminine side of God, and then the masculine side was all of the warfare. You know, the First Testament in the Bible, all of the warfare and you know, the floods, and just kill everything and start over. You do what I tell you to. Here are your commandments. Follow me and listen to what the fuck I said blindly, or off with your fucking heads. That's the masculine energy. They don't play a lot of games. There's not a lot of emotions in it. Everything is rational. Everything is logical. Everything is strategic. I said what I said. I gave you clear directions. Follow or don't. Abort the mission, it's a kill. Jesus was a whole lot different. He raising people back from the dead. Oh, you didn't listen to what God said, but here's another chance. Here's another opportunity. Oh, let me just keep giving of myself. So self-sacrificing. Oh, I empathize. I feel with you. All of these emotions and feelings. It was the feminine energy. It was the feminine side of God. So I feel like that's the part of you, is that you literally need to understand what people are going through, or you need to be able to empathize with them before you're able to cast judgment, which is really what puts everybody back in their seat of authority. You have to decide what's right and wrong for your life. You have to decide what you value, what you don't value, what you like, what you don't like. Everybody is judged and scrutinized, but there are some people who feel like that only belongs to God, and that is one way of living. But the thing about it is, when you find yourself without God, because there will be times when you feed on way too much devil energy. Sometimes it could be something as simple as you go through something materially or physically and you have to chase the money. So guess what time you're on every day? Demon time. I got to get to that dime. I got to get to that money. I don't see God dropping a bag of money into my hands and we can't wait. And so we get to the ground and we do it our fucking self. But you have lost God in that energy. So the only way that you will be able to still move from your authenticity, and once you get to that point where you realize, okay, now this is affecting my life, it's affecting how I'm feeling, it's affecting my connections, it's affecting my mind, my heart. When you get to that point, the only way to get back where life goes easy for you, you just know what to do and it's not hard for you, is for you to be able to make decisions. You have to be able to make solid decisions, and that is making judgment calls in your life. Judgment is another major arcana in the tarot deck, but that's why it's a major part of life and balancing out your spiritual and physical side. You can let go of your spiritual side altogether and be very non-judgmental, but there are a whole lot of things that could be happening underneath your wings that you don't pay attention to until you get shot down out of the air. And I'm speaking from experience, because I was taught to just fly, and God was always under my wings and everything went fine, and that's true, it did. But when people in my life started to shoot them down, they shouldn't feel like, and then I hit the ground like, what the fuck? This doesn't happen to me. So yeah, you can learn the hard way, or you can kind of just listen and pick yourself up and know what to do. But I don't know, I feel like this is tried and true. You hit the ground, you did that. And you had to learn that there are multiple ways, and there is a spiritual way to stay in your spiritual body and your spiritual self, but there is a physical way to stay in your, like, to solidify who you are physically, and you're the divine feminine. Divine feminine, you could be an emperor. Divine masculine, like I said, it's the high priest, but also the high priestess. So it doesn't matter what role, or, you know, if you're male or female, it doesn't matter. But this ascension is how you deal with things emotionally, and how you handle that, how you move through that physically. So the Empress is about getting what you ask for, getting what you want. And that's the lucky break. Good fortune, good things coming, in a turning point. For some of you, this could have been an empire. Oh, look what's hiding under here. Did we already have this card? Did I speak on this? My boo? I didn't see that. But with the Empress and the repo in reverse, I was saying a house is not a home. That Luther Vandross song is about love. And the divine feminine, this could have been your spiritual connection. You fought for it. You went to war for it. Like physically though, you had to make it materialize. You had to make it real. You made something real. So we have official status, exclusive relationship, and seeing each other openly. This could have been what you were working on or what you're working toward. Male or female, whatever you've done, I feel like it's leading to a lucky break. This is also growth. So that would signify a significant change. Okay, let's pull on my boo, because I don't even see when that card came out. Ooh, the World. That was just flipped over. Don't make me start singing, y'all. A whole new world. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, you still not? Oh, no. What? All right. I'm coming down in a second. Go ahead. You found you a little piece of candy? That means my son woke up grumpy. Beware, my child, of the snagger-tooth beast who sleeps till noon, then makes his feast on candy bars and cakes of yeast and anything around though. So when you see him, sneeze 3 times and say 3 loud and senseless rhymes and give him all your saved up dimes, or else he'll ne'er be found though. The wild beast, they like money and they like candy. What's my boo? Somebody can't get to you. You're off limits now. You were somebody's candy. I can't see you because you're so short, but I hear you rumbling through my cupboards, rumbling through the drawers. I hear you in the refrigerator. Give me a kiss. Good morning. Why are you so quiet and hiding? You having fun on the ground today?
Yep.
Okay, here. He came in for yogurt. This is it. Look, just quiet. I'm not even ranting and raving, but he like, And he covering his eyes. He's smiling though. But I thought he was, I'm like, oh shoot. He wake up, it's so funny. If he wake up, I would call it like waking up on the wrong side of the bed. He get that from his father's side, because his dad always used to wake up like grr first. My daddy did too. Maybe that's a male thing. It's a masculine thing. They wake up like, and I'd be like, hi, good morning. He'd be like, ugh. But he wasn't doing that today. He was ignoring me, but when he came, he needed my help. So he came over here, but he was smiling but hiding. I got a kiss though. All right, let's see. My boo. What's my boo? Not the right time. Okay. Maybe this was a connection that has been going on for a while, or this is a connection that you've wanted for a while. Page of Pentacles in reverse. You couldn't trust this individual. It wasn't the right time. What's changed? You're ready. Uh-oh. Okay. This is you had no choice. You had to do the work. It was not the right time. You were not ready for something, and now you're ready. So I don't know if you know specifically who this person is, or this could just be you getting on your throne so that you're ready for your equal match. You know, how are you gonna, how are you gonna attract an emperor if you don't do everything you need to do to be an empress energy? Oh yeah, because you could have still been in that I want to be safe, pick me energy. Victim mentality, survival mode. Okay, yeah. You had to do some work down there on the ground. You had to do work on the ground so that you could understand or see what potential, because I said something could be happening subconsciously. Like you didn't know you were carrying that energy, but you were. Maybe it's because you absorbed it. You connect with other individuals who may consciously feel that way. You may have had that activated, but it wasn't what you were living currently. But you needed to clear that energy. You had to exercise that energy. You had to release it so that you could float back to the top. Something was keeping you underwater. Yeah, something was heavy. You were carrying a burden that wasn't yours. So this is you, like, again, reaching shore, coming out of those chaotic waters, getting to peace. You learned a lesson. You applied the knowledge wise. And now you're ready. You're ready for your King Solomon. King Solomon. They may be coming fast too. You heard that car rev up. I was telling my son about King Solomon yesterday and how he was so wise and he was so fine. And I'm serious, like growing up, it was like, yes, get him, because he had all the hoes. He had all the hoes. And he wouldn't listen to God. God was trying to tell him all these hoes is caring. They all worshiping different entities. Look here, you can't be no loyal to me. I can't even help you for real. You got these were too much. They all worshiping all these different. They building up shit and serving it. Look here, do your thing, okay? You got all the money in the world. I feel like you're wise enough to get out of this situation on your own. I'm gonna leave you alone. But wise King Solomon, I was telling him about him. He was like a celebrity at the Kingdom Hall. We love King Solomon, and those letters that were sent between Queen Sheba and King Solomon, it was like a whole, like, oh shit. It was the whole thing. But anyway, I'm a dork. I'm a dork with it. When it comes to the Bible, I'm a dork with it. I really am. I really am. I like YouTube because I can kind of unleash it like that part. It don't work so well on my TikTok. They don't care about God for real on TikTok. They just want to hear what people got to say. And they want to be entertained. I get it. But yeah. So anyway, there's something you weren't ready for, but you are now. So that's the lucky breakthrough too. Good things coming. They were always coming to you, but I feel like it did take a little longer, and maybe it's because you thought you had to get down on the ground and do that work. It could have probably happened for you anyway. I'm a big believer that God always saves the day. So if you want to sit in victim energy, you can. If you want to go blind and pretend that it doesn't exist, you can, as long as you have a really good connection with God and you can stay in that place of trust. There's no reason that it won't work out. But sometimes there are some things in our life that I'm just like, yeah, but I just need a backup plan. God, like, I'm just in case, because I can't see you. I'm not saying that you haven't always been there, but I got this baby, so I kind of need, like, I think God understood. God understood, because I literally just trusted in God when it was just me. People thought still do, just crazy. But this is the more solid that I've ever been, but it's because I don't just rely on God anymore. I have to rely on myself, because I got this baby. So even if God suddenly is revealed to me, because that's what happened with my religion. I lost my religion. Kirk Franklin, losing your religion? Yeah, I lost my religion. It was like, what? Oh my God, you just ripped out my whole stability system. That's my safety net. That's my home. That's where I go back to. What are you talking about? There's no God? It's like, no, there is God. You just have to find God all over again and reconnect with him personally. Your religion is a sham. And I was like, oh my God. So that was like a whole midlife crisis. And yeah, but I found God again, personal relationship, and found myself. So I feel like that's what you went through. Because you got to be able to rely on yourself. Otherwise, there is always going to be this wobble that you have to continuously experience, especially if you have children. Somebody tell you, wait on God, wait on God, wait on God. Okay, but when you have children, you can't relax like that. Why are all of these text people texting me? These must be scam artists. I go to the same person every year, and whoever this is, whatever this is, that keeps coming up. It was somebody from Southfield, and now it's somebody from Evergreen. What the hell? I don't even read them, but they keep coming through. Are people really doing that? Oh, somebody just texted me about taxes. Maybe I should just, what? No, never. Never. Go in. Forgiveness. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is the Jesus energy. There was some kind of sacrifice. There was, you had some anger that you couldn't let go of. There's something that happened to you on a physical level or something like that was very hard for you to detach from, to release. And you would have to pretty much see or be in the frequency that that person would have been in, and saw how they would be able to behave in such a way. So that's what I feel like you were able to do. You had to walk in someone else's shoes to be able to release whatever this was that could have had a hold over you. It was holding you back. Basically holding you back from being able to relax and sit on your throne. You know, the Empress is love and light, but you was like on your daddy's side a little bit because you was pissed off, you know. That Queen of Wands in reverse, that's definitely, that's the father's energy. Off with their fucking heads. That's that queen. Off with their heads. Okay? So, yeah, you slay. You slay all day. But you can't be an empress and slay all day, because the empress rests. The empress rests. She is the peace. She is the ease. So, yeah, you needed that forgiveness. You had to release, because part of this is righteous indignation. It's a reckoning. What's reckoning? Where does it come from? Wrath. I don't care how justified it is. That was God's wrath. Either way, it was when you were big mad. So you had to learn to forgive somebody. And it was like you were forgiving someone that you didn't even trust. But good for you. Okay. Good for you. Whatever you did, this makes a very solid foundation for you. And it's solid from the, look at here, from the bottom to the fucking top. That's solid. Solid as a rock. So what you build will be solid as a rock. That's your solidarity internally. That's your spiritual energy. You can't be broken. Who you are cannot be broken. But this is what you build will not be broken either, because that's the foundation you're creating from. You're solid regardless of what comes your way. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave this reading here. I enjoyed this live. It was a lot more than I bargained for. Oh my God, it is a lot more than I bargained for. It's an hour long. I don't mind, but it seemed like the times when I say, okay, I want to keep the readings about 30 minutes or so. Those are the times that they go about an hour, hour and a half, too. All right, y'all. I'm really done. And I will see you all in the next one.